Thank you. Welcome. Good morning, everyone. This is the April 23rd, 2025 Land Use Commission meeting. This is a hybrid meeting, which is being physically held at the Ark of Hilo, 1099 Waiʻanui Avenue, Hilo, Hawaii, 96720. This meeting is open to the public. Court reporting transcriptions are being done from this Zoom recording. For all meeting participants, I would like to stress the importance of speaking slowly, clearly, and directly into your microphone. Before speaking, please state your name and identify yourself for the record. Please be aware that all meeting participants are being recorded on the digital record of this Zoom meeting, which will be posted to YouTube and used for court reporting purposes. Your continued participation is your implied consent to be part of the public record of this event. If you do not wish to be part of the public record, you should exit this meeting now. I will also share with all participants that will take breaks from time to time. My name is Mike Yamani, and I have the pleasure of serving as the LUC Vice Chair. We currently have 9 seated commissioners. Along with me today are Commissioners Dan Giovanni from Kauai via Zoom. We also have Brian Lee and Mel Kahele from Oahu, Bruce U'u from Maui, Commissioner Nancy Carr-Smith from Hawaii Island, and Commissioner Miles Miyasato also from Hawaii Island. For commissioners participating via Zoom, please indicate where you are attending this meeting and if there's anyone else over the age of 18 present with you. And I'll go ahead and start for myself. I'm participating from my home in Kapa, Hawaii, 96746, and there is no one else in this room with me. Commissioner Giovanni.
This is Commissioner Giovanni. I'm participating from my home in Kalaheo, Kauai, 96741, and I'm operating from my personal home office, and there's nobody else in the office with me.
Thank you, Commissioner Giovanni. Absent today are Commissioners Ken Hayashida and Commissioners Koike Kamakia Ohelo. Also in attendance, we have LEC Executive Officer Daniel Orendenker, LEC Staff Planner Martina Segura, LEC Chief Clerk Ariana Kwan, and LEC Attorney General Miranda Steed. Again, court reporting transcriptions are being done from this Zoom recording. Our next order of business is a status report from docket number SP73-159, Toyama Gardens, DBA Nani Mall Gardens. There will be discussion and action, if necessary, on status and progress report concerning compliance with the 10th Amendment to the Land Use Commission's Special Use Permit Decision and Order issued on December 4th, 2009. Will the parties please identify themselves for the record? Petitioner, will you please identify yourself for the record?
Vice Chair Yamani, before you guys start, why are you running the meeting when the chair is here? Just wanted to find out.
Go ahead, Commissioner Giovanni.
Thank you, Commissioner Yamani. I had eye surgery yesterday morning, and my eyes are still heavily dilated, and I am not able to read or see adequately. So I personally requested to hand the gavel for today's meeting to the Vice Chair for the efficient operation of the meeting. I am able to listen and hear, and I think I can participate if and when necessary, for example, if a vote is necessary.
Thank you for the explanation.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the question, Commissioner Lee. All right, getting back to our next order of business, which is a status report, docket number SP73-159, Toyama Gardens, DBA Nani Mall Gardens. There will be discussion and action, if necessary, on the status and progress report concerning compliance with the 10th Amendment to the Land Use Commission's Special Use Permit Decision and Order issued December 4th, 2009. Will the petitioner please identify yourself for the record?
Good morning. Good morning, Vice Chair Yamane, members of this commission. Welcome to Hilo, Mayor Monarch. For the record, my name is Sidney Fouquet. I'm a land use planning consultant, and I'm here assisting the petitioner, Nani Gardens Group. With me
Thank-
are two other individuals who are part and parcel of the master permit, the charter school, and I'd like to have them introduce themselves.
Good morning, members of the commission. My name is Thomas Ye. I'm counsel for Kua'okala, which is the charter school that operates under the umbrella of this special permit. And so we're here today just to kind of answer questions and provide our perspective on the status report that's been scheduled.
I would like to remind everyone to talk clearly into the microphone.
Aloha mai kako. Welcome, commissioners. My name is Susie Osborne, and I'm the co-founder and development director for Kua'okala Charter School. And as stated, we're under the umbrella of this use permit. So we're here to provide a status update. Mahalo.
Thank you. For the county,
Good morning. This is Deputy Corporation Counsel Jean Campbell. With me today is I'm sorry, you're not the deputy anymore. Apologies. Planning Director Jeffrey Darrow, also Deputy Director Michelle On, and Planner Christian Kay. And like the applicant, we're happy to answer any questions that the commissioners may have. Thank you.
thank you. OPSD,
Good morning, Alison Cotto, Deputy Attorney General for the Office of Planning and Sustainable Development. Also here is Mary Alice Evans, Director, and Aaron Sadagawa, Planner from OPSD. Thank you.
thank you. Disclosures and conflicts of interest. In accordance with HRS 84-14, commissioners are not allowed to take any official actions affecting a business in which they are a member of or their family has financial interests. They must therefore recuse themselves from this matter if there is any benefit, monetary or otherwise, to themselves or members of their family. Also, in accordance with legal ethical standards, commissioners should disclose any relationship, business and social or otherwise, that they may have with the petitioner or its representatives or any other parties to this proceeding that may give rise to an allegation of bias or impropriety. Do any commissioners have any conflicts of interest or disclosures to make?
Yamane, Commissioner Carr Smith has raised her hand.
Go ahead, Commissioner Carr-Smith.
Thank you. Just disclosing that I know many of the people in this room. We're a big island, but we have a small population and we all know each other. I have no financial ties to any of these folks, and I can be fair in making any decisions that we make today. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Carr-Smith. Do any of the parties have any objection to this continued participation? Petitioner.
None, Chair.
Thank you. Any other disclosures or conflicts of interest by our commissioners?
Commissioner Miyasato has his hand raised.
Commissioner Miyasato, go ahead.
Yeah, Chair. Same situation as Commissioner Smith.
Okay, thank you. Does any of the petitioners have any objection to continued participation by Commissioner Miyasato?
Seeing none, Chair.
Seeing none, thank you. All right, let me briefly explain the procedure. First, I will recognize written public testimony that has been submitted on this matter. Next, I will call for members of the public who wish to provide oral testimony on this matter. The petitioners will be then called upon to provide their status report. After the petitioner's presentation, I will ask the county and then the state OPSD to present their comments regarding the status report. The commissioners will have an opportunity to ask questions of the parties at the conclusion of each of their presentations. I will then reopen the floor for any new and additional oral testimony on this matter. Finally, the commission will enter deliberations regarding the status report to decide if any actions are necessary. The chair would like to remind everyone I'll be calling for short breaks from time to time. Are there any questions about the procedure for today?
Seeing none, Chair.
Thank you. As stated on today's agenda, please be informed that the relevant records and the documents pertaining to this matter can be accessed for review on the LEC website at https://luc.hawaii.gov www.hawaii.gov/SP73-159. For the members of the public, again, please be reminded that the commission will not be making any changes to the special permit that has already been issued. Rather, the commission is interested in learning about the current state of the activities related to the docket, including compliance with conditions, and will consider whether action is necessary. I will now recognize written public testimony submitted in this matter. Ms. Kwan, has there been any written testimony submitted on this matter?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we received 3 anonymous testimonies that have been posted to the website on April 21st. And then April 22nd, we received 1 additional testimony from Susan that was also posted to the website.
Thank you, Ms. Kwan. Are there any members of the public that wish to testify on this matter?
Yes, we have 2 signed up for public testimony.
Are they Zoom or physical?
They are in person.
Okay.
And if anybody on the Zoom would like to be added to the queue, please use the Q&A feature on the Zoom. For now, we'll call Tierney McClary for the first testimony.
Good morning. Please state your name, zip code for the record, and then you may proceed with your testimony.
Good morning. My name is Tierney McClary. My zip code is 96720, and I am a resident of Makalika Street.
Thank you. May I swear you in?
Yes,
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth?
yes.
Thank you. You have 2 minutes.
I would just like to say that as a resident of Makalika Street, first I would like to confirm and let everybody know that I was Ken Fujiyama's chief financial officer when he owned the Nani Loa, Nani Mau, and the Volcano House, as well as I was the chairman of the board of the Connections Public Charter School when it changed its high school location to the Nani Mau location. I have spoken with Cindy, who now owns the Nani Mau, and her mission is to make the Nani Mau a community place that is going to be beneficial to all residents within Hilo, Hawaii, and the Big Island. Cindy has worked very hard over the years to provide a place that people can meet at, both for community meetings, for community functions, as well as state and county functions and political functions to take place. She really has a vision to recreate the Nani Mau into a place that is going to provide help for both our citizens, specifically for our children and teenagers, to look at offering them ways to make a better future and to stay on island, as well as helping the female population of our islands create new business opportunities and new ways to flourish within the islands. These missions are consistent with our county, I think, are consistent with the neighborhood, and we are actually very appreciative to have the school in the neighborhood. It's a great use of the land, and we love to hear the children playing outside, and we're very appreciative what Cindy has done for our community.
Thank you for your testimony. Any questions for the testifier? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
And I believe we have a second testifier, Ms. Kwan.
Next, I have Esther Casimiro. And seeing none on the Zoom.
Thank you. Please state your name and zip code for the record.
Aloha. My name is Esther Casimiro. I'm a volunteer currently at Nani Mau Gardens, but I also work full-time in the hospitality industry. My zip code is 96720.
Thank you.
I've
May I
known
swear you in
Cindy-
at this time?
I'm sorry.
May I swear you in before your testimony? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give us is the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. You have 2 minutes.
Okay, so I've known Cindy really nearly 3 years, and I really am appreciative of her vision. And it's as Tierney stated, that it is for the community. Her vision is to be a part of the community, serve the community. And I've done events with her, and it's always the focus is on how it can be a good experience, good service, and food, of course, to the community, and really getting involved, with Rotary groups and all our civic groups and Japanese Chamber, and then, of course, our schools. That's another, the young people is her focus, so that we can let our children grow and thrive here. We're looking to, Cindy is looking to always create opportunities, work with the schools. And I in full support of her vision and what she is trying to do for our community. We need this. We need this in Hilo. A community, a business like Cindy that uplifts the children, our future, yeah.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions?
Seeing none, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, at this time, I would like to call Ms. Segura to summarize the staff report for us and any staff concerns.
Hello, for the record, this is Martina Segura, staff planner. I'm presenting the staff report that was posted online April 18th. The status report was scheduled because the Land Use Commission had no history or record of annual reports since 2011. The Land Use Commission office received calls from county planning staff and members of the public regarding concerns and changes in use to the special permit. There was a series of communications between Land Use Commission staff regarding annual reports and the petitioner that were posted and made available to the Land Use Commission website for review. In one of the responses, we reminded the petitioner of the duty and processes for amendments to conditions regarding annual reports and any other conditions that need to be amended for current uses. In conclusion, the status report was scheduled to update the Commission, County, the Office of Planning, and public on the current uses and possible future plans relating to the special permit. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Segura. Questions, commissioners?
Seeing none, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Kwan. All right, I guess we'll start with the petitioner. Could you please provide us with your status report?
Okay, thank you again, Vice Chair Yamane. I was kind of nervous in the beginning and I kind of overlooked my zip code, which is 96720, and also failed to acknowledge the owner, Ms. Cindy Cui, who's seated to my left.
Thank you.
In terms of the presentation, I kind of want to just indicate there are basically two special permits that's covered by what I would consider the parent special permit. One is the operation of the Nani Gardens, which is a commercial arboretum with special event function. And the other significant component is a charter school That was the 10th Amendment that was approved back in December of 2009. Now, Cindy and her company is called Nani Gardens Group. They acquired the property in 2022, and they continue to operate the Nani Gardens and continue to allow the charter school to operate as it is today. We would like to apologize for not submitting any annual reports since 2011, largely because back in 2011, the county planning department director was delegated the authority to deem whether subsequent annual reports would be required. Basically wrote a letter to then Mr. Ken Fujiyama, said, "Thank you very much. No further annual reports were required." So as a result, no annual reports were submitted. Ms. Kui secured the property in 2022. Wasn't informed that any annual reports were required until she received the letter from the State Land Use Commission staff in January stating that you guys are due an annual report. So at that point in time, I immediately submitted one. We went on an item by item basis and submitted a letter to the Land Use Commission staff, a copy of which is already in your folder. I would be prepared to kind of like go item by item, but since it's already in your folder, and if you have questions related to that, we'd be more than happy to answer. Subsequent to the filing of that, I'd like to kind of indicate like two other things that have happened. One is that there were like two violations that have occurred, which we did not formally, I did not formally kind of like acknowledge or put in that February response letter. One was that there was an official notice of violation that was cited by the county planning department saying that you had some outdoor activities and it's not allowed because you had it in the parking lot. And in September of 2024, last year, the planning department had written a letter to then the Nani Gardens Group, basically saying that you have complied, and they closed file on that. The other one, which I distributed this morning, is a copy of a letter dated April 17th. And on that was a kind of like a self-reporting violation because all these years, periodically, the church operated on a portion of the property. And so Ms. Kui took steps to kind of like regrettably inform them that the church use was not allowed. And so that letter that's you have before you, dated April 17, it summarizes the termination of the church use. I'd like to also kind of related to that particular activity, since the special events is allowed on the premise, we had informed the church that you could possibly qualify as a special event, no different than any cultural, political, social events that currently occur on the property, but they would have to stand in line like everybody else. And so that's kind of like where it is right now relative to the church. But the church use in a separate building has been officially been given the word to terminate, to cease and desist. The other thing I kind of wanted to acknowledge is that as was pointed out by the two public testifiers, the owner is very supportive of the school. They want to see it. It's an important component within the community. And the school right now is in the process of trying to secure their own entitlement as well as their own so-called land under which the school currently operates on. So back in January, we submitted two special permit applications to the County of Hawaii. One specifically earmarking the school, and the other one specifically earmarking the operations of Nani Gardens. The hope was that to bifurcate the two significant activities that's currently covered under the same special permit umbrella. So it was felt that by having two separate special permits, enforcement becomes a little bit easier rather than having two distinct use all covered by the same amendment, the same special permit. At the same time, knowing that you still had the parent special permit, we submitted a concurrent request calling for the nullification of the primary special permit. So we submitted 3 applications to the county. The county responded basically saying, can you provide us additional information in terms of what's going on the property and show how what's going on relates to all of the approved conditions of the 10 amendments. So that we did. We have yet to receive a response from the county on that, but pending its the receipt from the county to our response letter, then our intent is to adjust as may be needed the whatever was submitted and have the planning department consider what was originally submitted back in January. I would now like to turn it over to Mr. Tom Ye and Susie Osborne. They're the responsible gatekeepers of the other component of the special permit, the school. Tom.
Yeah, we'll let Susie go first.
Aloha again. And I also failed to give you my zip code. So Susan Osborne is my official name and my zip code is 96720. So mahalo commissioners for allowing this time to present a status update on Kuokala Charter School, which falls under Amendment 10, Charter School Use. I want to just give you a little bit of history for those of you that aren't familiar, and I'm probably going to read most of this because Kalamai, we're coming in a few days on the 7th year anniversary of the Kilauea eruption when we lost our campus. So it tends to be a little emotional for me, so excuse me up front for that. But the history is in 2000, Kuokala Charter School was granted its charter contract with the state. The school actually emerged as a result of the cultural education programs developed and delivered by the now over 30-year-old 501c3 nonprofit Ho'oululahui. Like all charters, our supporting nonprofit developed and managed the school's facilities and built our beautiful campus replete with greenhouses on our 600-acre coastal site in Puna. We were the first totally solar-powered school in the state of Hawaii. Kuokala is a Hawaiian-focused charter school that has become known for our farm-to-table programs, hosting ulu festivals with over thousands of attendees, cultivating and distributing over 12,000 native trees for free to the community, developing local-only cookbooks, and managing student-led productive greenhouses and mala infrastructure to support the students' academics. We teach agricultural practices and integrate these concepts with our core academic programs. What a wondrous learning laboratory we had. So in 2018, we lost our campus and our Aina to the Kilauea eruption and my home. Charter schools are overseen by the Charter Commission, which has comprehensive compliance oversight of our schools, including facilities compliance with all regulatory agencies. As such, when I was looking to relocate our school, I met and discussed with the charter school, Connections Charter School principal about the facilities compliance conditions at the Nani Gardens, which they previously occupied. They hadn't been there for several years. In consideration of relocating the school there, because it's pretty hard to find a spot for a school that's compliant. So we were informed that all the special use permits were in place and we proceeded with the relocation. It was beyond tragic to lose our beloved school and nonprofit site, but we were grateful to successfully relocate to the Nani Gardens. So in 2019, Director Michael Yee of the County Planning Department issued final plan approval, PLA-19-001691 for Kuokala, and the extensive work we did resulted in the attainment of an E-occupancy classification. You have that in your little packets before you. The school administration team also reviewed the condition of the special use permit SP 73159 before you today. The commission recommended that the applicant and charter school operator shall periodically remind parents and staff to use Railroad Avenue rather than State 11 Hawaii Belt Highway for access to Makalika Street. In response to the access recommendation, the school included the following language in our student and parent handbook, which states the same. When possible, please use Railroad Avenue rather than State Route 11 Highway Belt access for access to Makalika. I've also provided you with the cover of our handbook and page 11 that has the language. And this is provided annually to our parents, and they have to sign off on this document that they have read and understand. So we feel that we've adequately addressed this. So we're so grateful to have the opportunity, as Sid said, to secure a permanent home at Nani Mau, and we're in the process of rezoning from Ag 10 to Ag 5. We're almost through that. And then subdividing and acquiring the currently occupied school space at Nani Mau. It is safe, accessible, and while not our prior 600 acres, we have 2 large greenhouses, a beautiful mala or garden with bunnies and chickens, which our students love. The ag zone is appropriate for our academic, place-based, and cultural school focus. The location is perfect, surrounded by Hawaiian homelands. We are well established there now for over 6 years with no complaints. And as you see from the over 30 letters of support provided to you, we are well supported in this location. I'm sorry I just uploaded those kind of late in the day yesterday, but they range from Senator Takuda, Representative Tokuda, our mayor, the Kumeyaи president, and lots of community members. So, and we secured those letters as we were going through the rezone process and all the outreach we were doing with the community. So I share those with you in that light. I truly value the use permit process. And while we are required to have a use permit for our school and ag zone, I believe it is an appropriate use for our school focus and location. And we are in full compliance, and we are fully committed to staying in full compliance with the use permit. And it's not really my place to speak on behalf of Nani Mau, but having worked closely with Cindy and with her new ownership for the last several years, she truly has poured her heart and soul and a lot of money into this facility to make this a really successful community place. She's really balanced that with incoming visitors. And the place was really neglected for a long time, and it has taken a lot for her to get it to where it is now. So I really hope that we can all recognize the value that this facility holds for our community, and that we work together to do whatever we can to support her success, which then results in our community success. So thank you for your time today, and I'll pass this to Tom for follow-up comments. Mahalo.
I'll try to be brief. Well, basically, as you've heard and you can see from the letters of support, that from the school standpoint, what has got going on in this 5-acre site is really an appropriate use that matches curriculum for our charter school as well as agricultural learning and hands-on cultural traditions. So their place in the community has also been supported by the Kumeyai, the Paneeva Farmers Association. Looking forward, the plan is, and the county council just recently through its zoning committee approved the 5-acre zoning that we're looking towards doing. And so it really makes a lot of sense to have this separate ownership from the school's perspective and to seek a special permit, basically using the same kind of conditions and the same uses that it currently exist, and move it over to a 5-acre special permit that's particularly appropriate for the school. In terms of the status report, the school has no problems with providing annual status reports on its own or through the Nani Mau Gardens group. But in speaking to the conditions that were applicable to the school itself, it got final plan approval in 2019. It got its occupancy permit. Its charter school hours remain as required from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., with the exception of special events such as PTA conferences and school activities. The main access continues to be from Makalika as required through Railroad Avenue, as was also a part of the condition. Traffic has not really been an issue for surrounding residents. So, looking forward, we're happy to answer any questions, any issues that might come up, and provide our perspective on some of the issues that may be discussed later on. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Vice Chair. So that concludes our presentation. So we're open, available to answer any questions that you or the commissioners may have on this matter.
Thank you,
Staff would like
Commission.
to remind the petitioner that you have to submit the 3 attachments that were given today via
Yes.
email, so we can post it to the website so everyone else can have the information.
Confirmed, yes.
Thank you for your status report. Commissioners, Questions?
Commissioner Lee has a question.
Commissioner Lee,
Thank you. For the petitioner, you talked a little bit about the conditions. Are there certain conditions that you find difficult to meet?
No, the conditions were all articulated in the 10th Amendment, and they've all been complied with. Some is kind of like ongoing. For example, they have any new structures associated with a special permit, they would have, one of the conditions would state that you would have to comply with all applicable health rules or drainage rules. So those are standards. So the specific answer to your question is that no, none of the conditions are troublesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
thank you, Commissioner Lee.
Commissioner Carr Smith has a question.
Commissioner Carr Smith.
Ariana, can you just review again, Mr. Fuke, the status of the complaints and the violations? I wasn't quite clear how that got wrapped up.
Sure. I think in 2024, last year, there were like 2 special events that occurred within the parking lot area. And those were obviously outside of the so-called authorized areas for special events. When the Fourth Amendment was granted, to allow for the special event activity to occur within the primary retail commercial structure, plus an additional 25,000 square feet within the arboretum area. That's kind of like where almost all of the activities occur right now, whether it's a baby luau, wedding, political fundraiser, so on and so forth. But in 2024, I guess Ms. Kui, the owner, was not aware when the operator wanted to utilize the parking lot. And so that was clearly an out of bounds kind of use. So they received a citation from the planning department, and subsequently to that, she had paid a fine and that violation was cured. So that was the first, notice of violations since she acquired the property. The other one was a self-reporting violation, which was like the establishment of the church. And so that's been kind of terminated. Just as an added measure, like right now you have marijuana facilities, activities going all over town. And, you've had, pop-up vendors operating in parking lots and all that, and Manona Mini Mart, for example. Ms. Kui was asked by they have activities currently ongoing right now at the Nani Mall Gardens, and one of the operators wanted to have activities within the expand, their operation in the parking lot area. Sadly, she had to tell them, no, it's kind of out of bounds. So you have to kind of like stay within that arena of permitted area. So that's how she's been responsive, to any potential complaints. And she definitely wants to stay within the guardrails.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Carr Smith. Any other questions, commissioners?
Seeing, Miles Miyasato would like to give a question.
Commissioner Miyasato.
Thank you, Vice Chair. And for the charter school special permit that's currently active, is there a deadline, termination date on that special permit?
No, there are not.
Okay.
And for this particular use, we don't see deadlines as being, we're talking about deadlines to get what they needed for permits or deadlines for operation?
On the special permit use?
Yeah. No deadlines.
Okay, so it's not a 10-year term on the special permit?
No. And under this circumstance, we don't really see that as being an appropriate issue because you've got a school there, you have kids going to school, you're operating, you're making substantial investments in terms of the improvements to make it school worthy. Yeah, under this circumstance, that's the situation.
Okay, yeah, because I can appreciate that. Being that you're going to attain ownership, that'd be hard to invest.
Correct.
On a term. So that's good to hear.
Thank you.
As far as the gardens itself, thank you for the update. I'm going to say in reviewing this, it's of no one's fault, how I see it, that reports weren't filed. I believe no one here was present when all this took place. This was a whole different administration, different representatives, different owners. At the time when it was issued by the county's director that everything had been satisfied, was a different executive, the previous director or previous director. And so I just appreciate your cooperation and response to finding out that, yeah, you still are obligated. And, for the Big Island, especially Hilo, venues are limited. And I can really appreciate how an owner needs to diversify to stay alive in business. To have even a graduation party, you need to reserve 1 year ahead of time on the Big Island. You got Nani Mall, you got Auntie Sally's, and Sango Hall. That's about it. And so, I'd like to see this place stay in business. So thank you for being open to the community. Other than that, I think the update was sufficient, and there was no intent of trying to hide complaints or unpermitted uses, and it's all been dealt with, and can appreciate that. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Miyasato. Commissioners, any other questions for the petitioner? Commissioner Giovanni.
Thank you, Chair. We heard reference to the vision of the new owner. I think her name is Cindy. If she's present, I would appreciate if she could share with the commission in her own words what her vision is looking forward for not the school, but the remainder of the property, and what her vision is for that property.
Fair question, Mr. Chair. So I'd like to call Ms. Kui up. Cindy.
Thank you. Could you please state your name and zip code for the record?
Hello, everyone. My name is Cindy Chui, the owner of Nani Mall Garden. The zip code is 96720.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Kwan, do I need to swear this testimony in, or are we good to go?
Yes.
Okay, all right. May I swear you in? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give us is the truth?
Yeah.
Thank you. Go ahead. You have 2 minutes.
I'm so happy to be here. Actually, it's the first time for me to join this meeting. So 3 years ago, I don't know why, I think it's led by the God to the garden. And the first day when I was there, I got a chicken skin. I saw it's so beautiful place. But at that time, because of COVID, it's closed. It's all wild grass, so all the wild pigs. But I feel something there. So I immediately contact with the owner at that time. And I told her, the local community have so beautiful place. Why just let it go like this? And then I talked to several local people. They told me a lot of a good story and unforgettable moments they had in the garden. So that's why I said, oh, let's see if we can make it happen again and bring back to the community. Then only within a couple months, we make a deal. Then I move all my family here. Even I came from San Francisco. Even a lot of my partner, my family member, my friends, they thought, Cindy, are you crazy? You quit everything in San Francisco, move to the Big Islands. I said, I don't know why, because I love all this weather, all the foods, and all the local people. They are really show the big ohana to me. it's a spirit of aloha. I love it. I'm touched. So even I went through so many a tough period, but I know it's a short period. And after I sit down with the local people, tell them my vision, I said, I own the garden, but this garden belongs to the local. So that's why I invest a lot of money into the garden, and I put all the fence for the school since the first day. I saw all the kids run around the garden. I said, oh, because I came from San Francisco, it's a lot of unhappy things happen on campus. I said, oh, I cannot leave kids, mixed with all the visitors. So the first thing I talked to the Susie at that time, I said, I must build up the fence there. So the fence right now for school, it's I built it for that. So I want to give all the kids safety. And then after the more I know Susie, we talk about that. I said, oh, because tragedy happened to the school in 2018, right? Because of volcano. I teared. I said, oh, kids should deserve better campus. That's why I go further. I said, oh, why we together to give the kids a permanent campus, give them a security, safety campus. That's start from there, we go further. And at the same time, I run the, Nani garden. I saw a lot of people love it. So that's why I told my husband, I said, no matter what, the rest of my life will be in the garden. Probably I cannot fulfill my dream here, but I think during my lifetime, I really will try my best to show local people the beautiful garden. So I think that should be simple of the halo of Big Islands. I have a lot of ideas and need a lot of money, but I said if I can get part of my dream fulfilled there, and will benefit local people a lot. So no matter what, I don't want to violate any laws, any rules. So you guys please just let me know what I can do, what I cannot. I 100% to follow that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Any more questions, commissioners, for the petitioner?
Seeing none, Chair.
Seeing none, thank you. Okay, thank you for your status
you.
report.
You're very welcome, Mr. Chair.
All right, county, comments from the county.
Good morning, Deputy Corporation Counsel Jean Campbell again. I don't have any comments, Director.
Aloha. My name is Jeff Darrow with the County Planning Department. Aloha, Chair Giovanni, Vice Chair Yamani, members of the Land Use Commission, Executive Officer Daniel Orendecker. Thank you for having us today. I don't have a lot to add. Within the last 15 years, as mentioned, we've only had really one complaint that resolved pretty quickly, and it appeared to be more of a misunderstanding than really a violation. Once it was made clear as to the boundaries of the permit, there's been no more issues. Not being the person that actually was involved in the annual progress reports, and looking at the information, I kind of understand what happened. Normally when special permits come through the planning department and then through the planning commission up to the land use commission, the planning department will prepare those conditions, and the annual progress report condition is very similar to our county annual progress report conditions, in the sense that it says if the director feels that no further reports are needed, they can put a pause on that. And we do that quite often, especially when annual progress reports just start becoming a formality. They're the same thing every year that come in. So we apologize for that. I do see the letter that the Land Use Commission actually from our executive officer here, sent to us in 2012, reminding us that if we wanted to modify the condition, we needed to bring that back to the Land Use Commission, and it appears that didn't happen. At this point, I think moving forward, we're all on the same page. The applicants appear to have no problem submitting updated annual progress reports, and we'll continue to work with them. This is an exceptional venue, as mentioned by Commissioner Miyasato. There's not very many options in Hilo for these types of special events. And again, the charter school is such a blessing. This was the charter school that was taken away during the Kilauea lava event. And so this is their new home, and we're extremely excited for them and supportive of them being able to move forward. The last amendment looks like it was in 2009. That was the 10th Amendment. I remember back then going, oh, wow, there's been 10 amendments to this special permit. And so you can see the reluctance whenever we say, well, why don't you go in for an amendment? But anyway, we'll continue to work with them with whatever they need. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions for the county commissioners?
Commissioner Uu has a question.
Commissioner Wu.
Good morning. Good morning. I just wanted to ask make one quick statement, or rather, for us, I'm from Maui, and I always make that known. And when I come, I'm a guest in your house. And I normally how I see it is I take the lead from the county, and we add in or shore up or whatever we need to do on our part. That's my part as being a commissioner. Couple questions. I seen on the testimony that was given, there was a Monarch bash with Capena. Sounds like a good bash, by the way, April 24th. Is that being done in the permitted area, or just for clarification?
To answer your question, yes.
Okay.
And then like within the time limit as well. Yes.
Thank you.
Commissioner Carr Smith has a question.
Commissioner Carr Smith.
Thank you. Mr. Darrow, could you speak to your understanding of the status of their rezone that's taking place, and also the application for the changing to 2 special permits, and that was perhaps denied for more information? Can you speak to those 2 things, please?
Sure. Thank you, Commissioner Carr Smith. So we're currently at council. We've just made it through committee for the change of zone. What this is there's a portion of the property that's zoned agricultural 10 acres, and the applicant is requesting to change the zoning to agricultural 5 acres to be able to separate the school ownership from the portion owned by Nani Gardens. As far as the special permit for the charter school and Nani, the thought was that because these are 2 separate owners and entities, that they may want to consider coming in for county special permits to operate separately, and they both take care of their own permitting through that process. We're still trying to get direction and clarification on that. We'll continue to work with the Land Use Commission in regards to the process on moving forward to possibly revoke the Land Use Commission special permit, and then come before the Planning Commission for the 2 special permits.
Is that dependent on the rezone?
It is. That's why we're waiting for that to be completed, but that looks it's been extremely favorable moving forward. I don't see any issues there.
Okay. What was the vote in committee?
It was all of them, yes. Everyone
Unanimous?
that was there.
In support?
Yeah,
Yes, it was.
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, commissioners? Commissioner
No.
Giovanni.
Yeah, just to follow up, Mr. Darrow, if you know, or if we have to go back to the petitioner, but is it the intent of the current owner and the school to actually do a transaction by which the school property would be sold to the school and they would then become the owner of that land?
To answer your question, Mr. Chairman, the concept is along those lines, to have the school have their own so-called real estate and their own special permit. So subsequent to the hopeful favorable action on the part of the county council to approve the zone change, the next step, which we anticipate occurring next month, by the end of next month, the next step is to go in to have the land officially subdivided. Once it gets subdivided, then the school would be in a position to either acquire the property in fee or possibly go on a long-term lease or whatever the case might be. That is still kind of like under negotiation right now between the school and the landowner. But at this point in time, the idea is to create opportunities for the conveyance to occur.
If I may, thank you, Commissioner Giovanni. The school actually has a development agreement with Nani under which once the subdivision is approved, then there will actually be an acquisition of this 5-acre parcel. So I just wanted to clarify what Mr. Fuki said, because he wasn't involved in that part of the process of negotiation. And it's actually the nonprofit Ulu Lahui that is going to acquire, and then there's an arrangement between it and the charter school. Thank you.
So, Mr. Darrow.
Thank you. Well,
Yeah, just to follow up, Mr. Darrow, in the testimony by the petitioner and the group of petitioners, the word permanent came up in their own testimony. Is it the view of the county that this would be a permanent use of under the special permits?
That would be probably the best question for the petitioner to answer. I mean, again, I think the understanding is that they are putting a lot of resources, money, effort into this facility, especially the school separately from Nani Mau. These are long-standing uses. There's been discussion, especially in the staff report regarding, is the special permit the proper venue to maintain permanent type uses? In this particular case, the difficulty that we run across is that if we were to go through a boundary amendment and change the zoning, this area would not allow for the uses that are currently allowed under the special permit. So that would not actually be an option available. Even if we were to change the land use to urban, this would not allow for the Arboretum to continue under low density urban zoning. It would not allow for the commercial uses. It could allow for, but again, right now, as the school mentioned, their curriculum involves agricultural type uses. And so it would be more appropriate for this particular use to continue in this manner.
Chair Giovanni, just to supplement what the director stated, the intent in having like two special permits for the school and also for Nani Mau Gardens is to have those uses occur, quote unquote, in perpetuity. So for example, if Kuakala, the current operators of the charter school decides to forego its operation, then the hope is to find a similar type of use on the property. Likewise with the Nani Gardens. So, I don't know how you can say whether it's going to be in perpetuity, but until that the use by the operator of the use decides to terminate the use on its own, then the use would continue vis-a-vis the special permits.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well. But I did hear testimony on the record from Cindy saying that she wants to do this for the rest of her life. And I heard testimony from the school that it was permanent in their mind, a great permanent site. So my question was really to county planning, if under the hypothetical that they end up with two separate properties, each under 15 acres, each subject to county permitting and zoning, whether they view any problem with the intent of these properties continuing in their current uses in perpetuity. That's the question to Mr. Darrow. I just don't want this thing to get, I'm very supportive of what's going on. Just like Commissioner Miyasato, I feel the same way, but I don't want this thing to get tangled up in some nuance from some planning concern.
Thank you, Chair Giovanni. Just to answer your question, we would be supportive of that direction, both properties coming in for a county special permit and continuing their uses. Thank you.
Okay, I'm good for now. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Giovanni. Commissioners, any other questions?
Commissioner Wu has a question.
Commissioner Wu.
Just for clarity, for my understanding, so you're saying if you guys were to utilize or go through a DBA, that the uses will not be permitted as existing. Is that true?
Aloha, Commissioner Wu. Yes, that would be true. This particular area is currently within our general plan for low density type uses. It's currently in the proposed general plan that we're going through right now through a comprehensive plan change, is reverting to rural residential agricultural. So it's actually backing away from low density to a more rural type activities. So this would be more consistent even with that land use guide map. We've also heard from the community that even though there's been talk in the past about this area transitioning to low density urban, they don't want to see it. And that's why we're seeing the general plan changing back to a more rural type designation. So this particular use would be more appropriate remaining in its current type zoning.
Well, I support you guys on that. So it doesn't come back to the Land Use Commission and for both of the reasons why you guys take your stuff in-house and there's one less for us to chase. So I wish you success in your direction.
Thank you, Commissioner Wu.
Carr has a question.
Commissioner Carr-Smith.
Thank you, Ariana. So that sort of prompts another question for me. So if this is proposed to be in perpetuity, then, but you're also acknowledging that making an annual report is okay. At what point is that not reasonable to have to make an annual report?
So if you kind of like fast forward and let's assume, next year, this time, there are two separate special permits, one for the school, one for Nani Gardens. They're each going to be assigned their own conditions. And at that time, the conditions are going to be distinct to the specific use, school use and Nani Gardens use. And there may be a condition calling for annual reports And I wouldn't be surprised there would be a condition because there may be new conditions for which I think the department would want to know, like how are you complying or non-complying with these additional conditions. But at some point in time, once it gets, fully laid out and operating, then any annual reports would probably be, as what the director indicated, becomes just wasting paper, just making the submittal for the sake of submittal. I kind of also want to address the issue about like if you change the zone, to commercial. I think part of the problem is that for the non-animal gardens operation, you need to have like a commercial zoning. And so for non-animal gardens to operate as such, that's fine. But we know that since you have like a commercial neighborhood, a village commercial zone or whatever have you, that once that use terminates, that you could have like other uses that's allowed in that area, such as like a service station, a major supermarket, all of those things which may have a different kind of impact that the community was not anticipating. So unlike the special permit where it's specific, like this is what you see and this is what you get, I think you have a better means of controlling.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
if I may, thank you. On this issue, when we use the term perpetuity, it kind of leads you down this track about permanency. But the regs that the Land Use Commission has basically says you can have a special permit that calls for a duration, a limited duration, if it's appropriate under the circumstances. So in the school's perspective, talking about a duration doesn't really make sense. It's really going to be, is this school here? Is it operating? Why would we limit it to 5 years? Why would we limit it to 10 years? That doesn't make sense from an investment standpoint. When we talk about boundary amendment from the school's perspective, do we jump through the hoops of doing a boundary amendment and then a zoning change and or getting another use permit? It's just, from a practical perspective, that's what we're looking at. And I think it also fits from a zoning perspective, because when we look at the special permit criteria, have there been unusual trends and needs that have arisen? Yes, there have, because we had the 2018 lava flow that displaced this school and put it where it is. Is it in character with the neighborhood? The neighborhood is surrounding areas are A5, A10, A1. This is also a combined use for agricultural purposes as well as school purposes. It fits this property. The special permit that was issued in the 10th Amendment didn't have a duration for the school, and rightfully so. So when we talk about these issues, we got to really look at the context for this school and what it's doing there. Thank you.
Thank you. That's helpful, Tom. And I understand also that the permit holder has the option to change things down the road. Yeah, so perpetuity was probably not the right choice of word.
Sorry, I apologize for the use of that term, but there are certain special permits I think that could warrant like a specific timetable. And I'm just kind of reminded about, it was a special permit that was issued for a heliport, up in the Hapuna Estates on the Mauka area. And then I think they had like a 10-year shelf life. And part of the reason why is that, well, there's nothing happening over there right now. So if you have this heliport today coming in for an extension, for example, we know that, on the upper side of the Hapuna Estates, you have development over there. So now it becomes incongruous, so certain uses, I think you can kind of justify having time limits. In this situation here, probably not.
Thank you. Commissioners,
Seeing
any
none,
more
Chair.
questions? So we've been over an hour, but I'm inclined if the commissioners don't mind, maybe we wrap up with OPSD and then take a short break after that. Everybody okay with that?
Everyone is nodding.
All right. Okay. OPSD, County, thank you for your comments. OPSD, you're up.
Allison Cato, Deputy Attorney General for the Office of Planning and Sustainable Development. I'm going to turn the mic over to Mary Alice Evans, Director of OPSD. Please swear her in.
Morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members. I'm Mary Alice Evans, the Director of the Office of Planning and Sustainable Development. We'd like to support the county and the applicant in their plans, but I also want to note that we believe, as Planner Sidney Fuki has noted, that some special permits are appropriate with termination dates, and others are for uses that where a termination is not appropriate. And so we don't believe that should be, that's our suggestion, is that it should not be, it should be on a case-by-case basis and not on a general rule. But we respect the Land Use Commission's determination on that. I'd like to take the opportunity to note that in our review of district boundaries we published in January 2022, we noted that there have been changes in areas surrounding urban areas, and this one seems to fall into that case. It certainly looks more like a rural, low-density pattern of settlement with family farm and agriculture and associated uses. Should the applicant and the county be inclined to consider a district boundary amendment to the rural district, it would certainly not be in contradiction of our report to the commission and to the legislature and the governor. So thank you for the opportunity to provide the comments.
Thank you. Commissioners, questions for OPSD?
Seeing none, Chair.
Seeing none, any questions for any of the parties, commissioners? Are we ready for a short recess for a break?
Seeing
Yep.
no questions, Chair.
All right, let's recess 10 minutes, reconvene back at 11:02. Thank you. All right, thank you. Let's start our, continue our agenda item. I think we are on public testimony number 2. Is that correct, Ms. Kwan?
Correct.
All right, so are there any members of the public who wish to provide new or additional testimony on this matter? If so, please let the chief clerk know. Ms. Kwan.
Seeing none in the room, Chair, and nobody on Zoom has used the Q&A feature to give additional testimony.
Thank you, Ms. Kwan. All right, further discussion, commissioners. As this is a status report, we're not required to take any action at this time. If no action is taken, the requirement of continued annual status reports will remain. However, if the commission feels that its concern have not been addressed based on the comments and responses provided by the petitioner, Chair will entertain the motion that either petitioner's status report has not sufficiently addressed the commission's concern and that further meetings or status reports updates are necessary to provide the opportunity to do so at future dates to be determined by the Land Use Commission staff, or that there is reason to believe that the petitioner will not adhere to the conditions set forth in the decision and order, and the request that the staff move forward with formal order to show cause proceeding. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, thank you. Let's move on to deliberations. Commissioners, Chair will entertain motion regarding how the commission should proceed in this matter. Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
Commissioner Carr-Smith has her hand raised.
Commissioner Carr-Smith.
Thank you, Commissioner Yamani. I feel that the status update is sufficient. What we've heard today, there's been progress made. They're working out the best uses and adjusting where they need to, proposing solutions that will make it better for the on-the-ground situation. I appreciate that. And I think that, with some hiccups here and there, they've been in compliance with the 10th Amendment, and they've admitted to the fact that they will continue to do so until such time as something else changes. So I'm good with the status update as is.
Thank you, Commissioner Carr-Smith.
Bruce Uu has his hand raised.
Commissioner Wu.
Ditto on my part.
Thank you, Commissioner Wu. Commissioners, Commissioner Giovanni.
Yeah, I concur. I'm fully supportive of the current activities at the place, at the property. I think that the dual uses that are ongoing and the commitment of the management teams at each is appropriate. There is uncertainty about how this will unfold at the county level with rezoning and the possibility of bifurcation. Therefore, I think that it is appropriate that the annual reports continue and that requirement be adhered to. So as long as the current owners and managers of the property commit to us, to the Land Use Commission to provide those annual reports, I don't see any need for any additional actions on our part.
Thank you, Commissioner Giovanni. Any other commissioner comments, discussions? Seeing none. So I guess, as I stated, there is no action required. And if there's no action required, there will still be continued annual status reports remaining. And if that is the case, I don't see, I'm fine with what was provided. Appreciate Commissioner Miyasato and Commissioner U's, I defer to their, what they think is good for Gila. And it sounds like this is a good thing and this should continue going on. So with that, if there are no motions, since we don't need any, I think we are done here. I'd like to thank all the parties and public for their presentations. Thank you.
Thank you all and best of luck.
And next agenda item is a report on DW Aina Development versus State of Hawaii Land Use Commission final decision. The United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit Court issued a memorandum on February 19, 2025, affirming the district court's ruling in favor of the State of Hawaii Land Use Commissions in the case brought by DW Aina Development, LLC. Public testimony. I'll now recognize written public testimony submitted in this matter. Ms. Kwan, has there been any written testimony submitted on this matter?
No, Mr. Chair.
Has there any been members of the public that wish to testify on this matter?
Seeing none in the room and no one used the Q&A feature on the Zoom, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Kwan. Pursuant to section 92-4, 92-5 HRS, the commission may go into executive session in order to consult with its attorneys on questions and issues pertaining to the commission's powers, duties, privileges, immunities, and liability.
Commissioner Carr-Smith.
So moved. Is that what you were looking for? Sorry. Yes.
Looking for. We have a motion by Commissioner Carr-Smith to go into executive session.
Chair Yamani, this is Commissioner Lee. I will second that motion.
Second by Commissioner Lee. If this is our first vote, do I need to take a poll vote for this one? Yes. All right. Executive Director or Director, could you please take the roll call vote?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Vice Chair. The motion is to go into executive session. Commissioner Carr-Smith.
Aye.
Commissioner Lee.
Yes, aye.
Commissioner Hayashida is excused. Commissioner Kahele.
Aye.
Commissioner Kamakeo Hello is excused. Commissioner Uu.
Aye.
Commissioner Miyato.
Aye.
Commissioner Giovanni.
Aye.
Vice Chair Yamane.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The vote passes unanimously.
Thank you. I believe we will go into a short recess, so both,
Minute.
and we'll sign off and
Thank you, Yamane.
use the other link, correct?
Correct. Please jump on
So
the
we,
executive session Zoom link.
okay, we'll sign off for this one and join the other one. See you in a bit. Thank you, everybody. We're back from our executive session where we Deputy AG discussed the legal implications of the court ruling regarding the State of Hawaii Land Use Commission in the case brought by DW Aina Development LLC. At this time, we'll be taking a second round of public testimony. If so, please let the chief clerk know. Ms. Kwan, do we have any members of the public who wish to provide new testimony on this matter?
Seeing none in the room, Chair, and none have used the Q&A feature on the Zoom to indicate they want to provide testimony.
Thank you, Ms. Kwan. Next on the agenda is our adoption of the February 19 minutes, 2025. Ms. Kwan, has there been any written testimony submitted on the February 19, 2025 minutes?
No, Mr. Chair.
Any members of the public who signed up to testify on the adoption of our minutes for February 2019?
Seeing none, Chair.
Commissioners, are there any corrections or comments on the minutes? If not, is there a motion to adopt the minutes for February 19th?
Chair, I'm going to have to recuse. I wasn't present at the meeting, so I'm going to recuse from approving. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
Commissioner, thank you, Commissioner Misato. Second by Commissioner Carl Smith. All in favor of the adoption of minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Minutes adopted. Thank you. The next agenda item is our tentative meeting schedule. Ms. Orendecker.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. On May 7th, we will be on Oahu for an update on the KS Waiava project. This is a non-action meeting. It's just so they can give us the latest plans that they have for the project as required at the last status hearing. On June 4th, we will be on Maui for the AMFAC status report, A92-686. And on June 18th, we will be at the on Oahu at the airport for the Hawaiian Memorial status report. And on July 9th, we have a pending FEIS from U of N Bencorp. If that is filed, we will be holding the hearing on that in Kona on the 9th. That completes the calendar.
Thank
Chair
you.
Yamane,
Go ahead,
this is Commissioner Lee.
Commissioner Lee.
You know, we haven't had an election of officers, and at I think the January meeting, our Deputy AG mentioned that annual means 12 months exactly. And the last election was April 3rd, 2024. So I make a motion that we hold our election so that we're not in violation at the next meeting, which is May 7th on Oahu. So I'll make that motion.
Commissioner Giovanni.
I second that motion.
We have a motion to have our next election on May 7th, right, Commissioner Lee? Is that what you said?
Correct.
And then seconded by Commissioner Giovanni. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Sorry.
There's a discussion, Chair.
Oh, there's a discussion. Go ahead, sorry.
Just a minor discussion. I will be recusing myself. KS is my employer, but I can participate in the part of the meetings that don't require that I that I can be at the meeting. So I'll be joining by Zoom, and then I'll recuse myself when the KS matter comes up. Is that suffice?
Yeah, we'll probably have you off the Zoom at that time during it, and then I'll invite you in when we're on the next agenda item.
Absolutely.
Actually, I
Perhaps we
just,
can have the election in the beginning so that Bruce can be excused.
given that it's a non-action item, the advice I just received from the Attorney General is, Bruce, you don't have to recuse yourself because there's not going to be a vote.
Okay, so I'll take that into consideration. The only thing I would have to pass on back to KS and let them know it's a non-action item, and I would have to abide by what they say also. But thank you for that. I'll get back.
Any more
Uh,
discussion?
Is there any further discussion on this?
No?
So I just have a question with what Dan Orndaker said. So if we agendize election of officers for May 7th, how can there not be a vote for election at that meeting? What's the sequence or the process that you
I'm sorry, I was referring to the KS matter.
Okay.
Commissioner who was going to recuse himself.
Okay, so basically, we'll agendize the election of officers and actually attempt to elect them for the next operational year of the commission. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, that's what I seconded.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, motion passes. I'll leave that up to the staff, and I'm assuming you're going to be able to chair that meeting, Chair Giovanni.
I will be there.
All right, I think that's it. This conclude.
I have another item.
Okay, go ahead.
This is Commissioner Lee. Similarly, we haven't had an evaluation of the executive director as well in over a year. So I would ask that be placed on the agenda.
So I don't know if we need a motion to that effect, but I agree, and it will be on the agenda. Basically, what I envision is the commission coming to a discussion and an agreement on the process of performance evaluation that needs to be conducted imminently following that meeting. The one open area that I have in my mind, just full disclosure, is that I had expected to receive by now direction from DBED director and deputy director on the process, if anything specific. They are on record saying that what we did last year process-wise was acceptable, but they also said that they're trying to get consistency among all the boards and commissions that relate to DBED on the process, but I haven't seen anything. So before the May 7th meeting, I will reach out to DBED director's office and see if there's anything forthcoming in terms of direction from them, and then ask the staff to share that, any direction we receive, with everybody in advance of the May 7th meeting.
Commissioner Lee?
Is that a motion to start the process on May 7th?
So
Yeah, the motion that I seconded is to agendize performance evaluation process at the May 7th meeting.
So we really shouldn't be having motions and voting because these weren't agendized. The chair sets the agenda, so it's fine that you're discussing this right now for the future meeting and saying, put this on the agenda, and the chair is agreeing, but it really wouldn't be proper to be voting. And since the chair sets the agenda, you don't need to. You've told him to put it on the agenda. That's sufficient, but we can't be taking votes on this.
Okay, so absence of any votes, it is the chair's intent to put both those items on the agenda for the May 7th meeting. Both agenda items would be the process for performance evaluation and the election of officers for the forthcoming year.
Chair, didn't the Deputy AG also say that annual election means 12 months exactly? So we're kind of bound to that, isn't that right?
My understanding is that the rules that by which actually says annual, it doesn't say 12 months, it says annual election or election for an annual.
But we had this discussion in January where our President Deputy AG said annual means exactly 12 months, and she made that an important point. So I want to ask the Deputy AG about that.
That's my take, but you can ask her.
Yep, so you're at your 12-month period for elections, so that's your chair said he's going to agendize it for your next meeting.
Point of clarification. I understand your concern, Commissioner Lee, that we may be in limbo here somewhat. However, in the past, the election of officers has been for a term to start on July 1.
Oh, yeah, it's going to start July 1, just that the election itself has to be held in 12 months.
Yes,
And
yes.
we're already past 12 months.
Oh, no, that was
well-
not my previous advice. My previous advice was that your terms are annual, so you can do the election really anytime prior to when the term would start, which your terms are starting on July 1st.
We wanted to do it in January, and you said it has to be 12 months last time, is my understanding.
The request last time was to hold an election and appoint new officers prior to July 1st. Doesn't really matter if you hold the election now or next month or 2 months ago. It's that the
That's
term
not-
starts in July.
I'm sorry, but that's not my understanding, because it was always understood the term would start July 1st, but we actually asked that the election be held earlier, not that the term would be earlier. And I can defer to Commissioner Miyasato on what his intent was.
Well, that was not the request that the Attorney General understood to be made, so I apologize if there was a misunderstanding, but our advice is that the term is the 1 year, July 1st. Not that you have to hold an election on a specific date in the lead up to that beginning of the term.
So just to clarify, what you're saying is that as long as the term is 1 year, you can hold the election 6 months before that term ends for the following term.
Yeah, as long as the terms start on July 1st, but again, it's up to the chair to set the agenda, so that's his discretion on when he puts the election within that period of
Okay.
time.
I'm glad we clarified that, because that was not, I don't think, what we all understood, but appreciate the clarification.
Chair, I just have a question. I guess it was mentioned by commissioners that it would be favorable for incoming commissioners to be able to participate and to elect their slate of officers on the incoming term, which I see no problem with. So is it a problem if this upcoming term be extended to July 31st and beyond the 12 months? Is that a problem? Or is it 12 months deadlock, dead? That's it.
That's not, Ms. Steed, I think, my term, the current term started July 1 for an annual term. The question is, can the commission decide to change it for more than 12 months?
Yeah, I think you need to clarify your rules if you wanted to do that. Right now, you have it set to begin with the fiscal year, and you have a current term expiring on July 1, so you do need to elect your new chairperson by then. I think your questions go more to if you want there to be a different point in time where elections are held, considering the incoming new members, I think you need to revisit your rules.
Yeah, also, I want to remind everyone that you had mentioned that in the previous case, that the officers would have to resign, and then there could be an earlier election. Was that your recollection?
My recollection was that the request made was to have elections to put a new chairperson in beginning, I believe, in January and not on July 1st. So if you wanted to hold an election
to have a term starting before the termination of the current term, then yes, the current chairperson and vice chairperson would have to resign.
Thank you.
Any more discussion? Questions?
Yeah, I think also this question for Miranda, maybe you need to review the rules in advance of our May 7th meeting, but I think somebody used the word slate of officers versus election of individual officers. Are we, by the rules, do we put forth a slate of officers, or can we elect chair and vice chair and second vice chair separately?
Yeah, I'll let my colleague who's going to be stopping that meeting know to check that because I'm not sure if your rules.
Yeah, just let me know if you can in advance of May 7.
All right, I'll let him know to get back to you on that.
Could you let everyone else know too?
He can tell you at the meeting, but no, because if I communicate with all of you, I'm committing a sunshine violation.
I think you're just giving us separately, but I'll defer to your expertise.
Yeah, so that's called a serial communication. So,
But you're not a board member. If Orodenker gives us the same advice separately, he says that was okay.
he's giving you more disinformation. The problem is that if I start sending you advice and then you respond to me and we start having a conversation and then I start having the same conversation with someone else and someone else, which is what is typically apt to happen if I'm emailing all of you.
Well, we can promise not to discuss, but that's
Yeah.
the same thing as what our executive officer tells us, you know. He shares the same thing with all of us, and we're trusted not to converse with each other or back serially.
How about you just ask my colleague at the next meeting to explain the rules in executive session? I think that's clear.
I don't want to wait till the next meeting. I want to know.
Staff has a comment. Hi, it's Ariana. Per HRS 26-34, it does say clearly in the rules that the term shall commence on July 1 and expire on June 30th, unless on the Board of Agriculture, Board of Land and Natural Resources, and Hawaiian Homes.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, but I still want to know the answer. So I could call you separately and you can tell me.
Well, I'm actually going to be out of the country pretty soon, so no, please don't call me. I'll pass this along to my colleague to handle.
Who's your colleague?
John Dupiel, we're the only two deputy AGs that currently advise you.
Okay, because if your determination is that you can't tell us the same information individually, then that's something that would apply to the executive director as well, correct?
No, my concern is that if I start providing legal advice to an email that you're all BCC'd on, we're going to end up in a situation where a serial communication occurs. You are correct that if none of you respond to me, we wouldn't have that risk, but it's not something that we can guarantee. So our stance is that we don't do that and we provide you legal advice in executive session at sunshine meetings to avoid any legal issues occurring.
So again, how is that different when the executive director does the same thing?
Commissioner Lee, I think I can clarify this. The AG office has policies with regard to how it handles its clients. This is their decision. But myself as the executive officer, I have trust in my commissioners that they won't enter into a serial conversation. So I send out the information.
That's a good answer.
Do I understand correctly that we still have the motion on the floor that we haven't voted on? There was a motion that, and Giovanni seconded it. That was for elections to be on the agenda.
Yeah, and so I interjected because you shouldn't be having a agenda item. It's a violation of sunshine law if you do that. But it's fine that you told him you want that. That's fine because it's within the context of the future meetings.
Well, we already voted, so.
No, we didn't vote. No. So my
but-
confusion, I thought we were on to the next topic of starting the evaluation, and I thought that that's what you were saying. We couldn't make a motion. So I was confused, but, so my only concern is there was a meeting prior that Miles made a suggestion to have the elections on the agenda. And then I was told after that it wouldn't be because it wasn't a motion. So that's why I'm confused.
Okay, so it's the discretion of the chairperson to set the agenda. So you informed the chairperson you want May 7 to have it. He's confirmed now on the record that he's going to include it.
Well, I think we're also bound by the 12 months that you had stated before, right?
Again, that's to the terms of the chairperson. I think we have a misunderstanding of what you asked me and the question I answered last time, because the question I thought I was answering was the chairperson's term, when does it start and end, and it's a 12-month period. To the question of when you hold your elections, you could hold them kind of any time before that. It's just that they wouldn't take effect until the current term ends.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask Chair Giovanni then, is it his commitment that we're going to have the election on May 7th?
Yes, that is my commitment. And also, we will have an agenda item on the process for performance evaluation of the executive officer. But I'm still waiting for clarification from the AG whether we could elect officers individually or as a slate.
Okay, that's good enough for me.
Before we adjourn, I neglected to bring something up when I was talking about scheduling. I want to note for the commissioners that we're in a very strange time right now. Our phones are not ringing, our emails are not happening with regard to new projects since January, since our current president took office. We have never seen this before. Even during COVID, we had a lot of activity. I just wanted to forewarn the commissioners that the agenda might be quite, or our schedule might be quite sparse for a while, because my understanding is that nobody is lending, so nobody's doing anything.
One other thing, Chair Yamani, before we adjourn, it was brought up at a previous meeting that we would have a discussion on out-of-state conferences. And I noticed on the calendar, there are 3 upcoming out-of-state conferences. And if the chair is the one that decides who goes to the conferences, I would like to ask that, you know, there's always been mention about how the new commissioners don't know that much, then, you know, to let us know when the conferences are, and that the newer commissioners should go, not the same commissioners going all the time, because that just looks like they're doing it for personal gain. So these trips that are coming up, I think that should be open to the new members. And especially since the chair himself is technically termed out, you know, you should take that into consideration before going on your trips yourselves.
Okay. Any other thing before we move on to our adjournment?
Yeah, so has it been decided who's going to these 3 conferences yet that are not staff? Mr. Odenker?
There's only 2 conferences that I mean, HCPO is, everybody goes. But there's ULI.
There's ULI, there is CNU, and then there's ESRI.
Oh, well, ESRI is a very technical conference. We usually just send staff to that because it's all about how to utilize the GIS technology.
So has ULI and CNU conferences been decided who's going to go among commissioners?
ULI, there are no commissioners attending. CNU, we have Koike Kamakeo held.
Okay, so see, none of us were consulted on that, and that was supposed to have been brought up, and you agreed to that at the previous meetings, that it was be open for discussion. So I would urge that to be a more public and transparent process.
I believe the discussion was we would put it on the calendar so the commissions are aware. I don't believe we said we would discuss it because it is the chair's delegation.
Yeah, my advice from the Director of the Department of Business and Economic Development was that it's based on seniority, and that's the way we've been operating. If this commission would like to change that, I'd be more than open to doing that.
So I have also, I've also conferred with with the director of DBED on the protocol for who gets to go to what conferences, and his simplistic response was it is based on seniority. But having said that, I'd like to know who would like to go to what conference. So if you're aware of a conference and you have interest, any commissioner that has interest in going, please make that known to Mr. Orendaker, and then we'll take it under consideration.
Yeah, so if I wasn't clear last time, I think this kind of stuff should be brought up and discussed in a meeting and not, in private, because we need to be transparent. And I think that I've served on boards before where I was the chair and I had to nominate people to go on trips. And it's not always seniority. Sometimes it's who's interested in going.
So I understand your position. My position is if you're interested in going to a conference, let Mr. Orendaker know, and we'll follow DBED guidelines. And those with the most seniority and who haven't recently gone to a conference will be at the top of the list. It's pretty simple. Let's not make it complicated.
Question, discussion. I agree. It would be good to everyone to know and just, same team, same body. But for myself, I probably couldn't go anywhere. I'm busy enough as it is, but it was just good to know of what's upcoming. And I would love to have feedback from maybe what someone learned or give us some insight of for our manao on what we can utilize that maybe we missed because we couldn't attend the meeting. So like on briefing, that's it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Staff has made a commitment to put our detailed staff reports on what we learned at the various conferences on the website for everybody to view.
I have one more topic, if you don't mind, Chair.
Sure.
And all of this conversation speaks to it. So I remember that we had a standing agenda item for updates or anything that might be of interest to us. We talked about putting that on the agenda and it never happened. And this conversation now is making me wonder what happened? Did we decide not to do that? Because this type of conversation could fall under any of that. So, Dan?
Yeah, we discussed that with the Attorney General, and the advice that we were given was that we couldn't put a general item on the agenda, that we had to have a specific item that was going to be discussed. The obligation of the commission under the Sunshine Law is to produce agendas that are sufficiently specific so that the public knows what's being discussed.
I understand that. And I recall that we talked about this and we emailed about it. And there were several examples of other boards and commissions that have a standing agenda item that is only activated and then made specific if there's something to be reported.
So the advice we gave was that if you had specific things you wanted updates on, to give it to the chair to be agendized so that we wouldn't have sunshine issues. So that's for the chair to answer if he's been getting requests or not, but the agreement that based on the AG's advice was that the chair would agendize based on requests he received from individual commissioners.
So we have to ask each meeting if we want something else discussed.
No, you need to email the chair and no one else in your email so that you don't commit a sunshine violation.
Sorry, I lied. I have one more comment. And it's nothing personal at all, but I really feel like whoever is running the meeting should be in the room. I think Mr. Yamane did a fine job from Zoom, and it works okay with us. But in fairness to all the other people that were here in person, for the petitioner, the state, and the county, I feel that somebody should run the meeting that's in the room. It also puts more kuleana on Ariana, who's already doing many other things. So that's just my mana'o on that.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions before we adjourn?
One last comment.
Go ahead.
Chair Giovanni, hopefully you're healing good. So I wish you the best in healing.
He'll be back.
Commissioner Wu, I'm healing so well that I'm coming to Maui on Friday.
Main thing you're not operating a plane and we'll be okay, buddy.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, but I'm feeling pretty good. And my if this dilation will go back to normal, I could be in a room that's not dark. I know it looks like I'm in a bright room, but I'm not.
All right. I think we're about to adjourn this meeting. Any further business discussed? Seems like we've done a lot. If not, I declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody, and have a safe trip back.
Thank you.